Finally, we're got it working. This is the first time fishnetwork.com has used the YouTube live feature. I'm watching you on my computer over here. I can see the live chat. It's really late at night. Currently, I don't have very many subscribers, so I don't believe anybody will see this live. But as a test, I will do one of my videos right now and see how the live works and whatever YouTube thinks about it. I did run this the first time and it spun forever and ever saying we're going live, but here we are. So I'm all set up, and today we're going to be talking about Panther Martin Spinners. Now, if you saw the thumbnail before you clicked on this pre-recorded live video, you saw that I was walking through a small little river, which happens to be near Richmond, Virginia, with some friends, and you can see the bottom, and there's rocks everywhere, and if you lose your step, because the rocks are very slippery in this river, you will go down. That's why I wear swim trunks and trying to be very careful. So this was my actual first time using Panther Martin spinners. I had seen them, and I had thought about using them, but they're really expensive. I think they start basically at around $9 to $10, and the ones I was using were one of the popular ones that actually had it's called a rooster tail on the end of it, kind of like a fly, the fly hairs. I'm not sure what they're made of, horsehair or something. They're different colors and stuff, and you can make your own flies with it. And they add it to the actual treble hook on the back of a Panther Martin spinner. And these were, I think they were, yeah, I think they were 1/16 of an ounce. And we were catching chub, which is a type of forage or bait for larger fish that actually feed into the Chesapeake Bay and other areas and estuaries around there, and also some small panfish like the pumpkin seeds we were catching as well. And I caught a mighty big chub. When you catch that big of a bait fish, it's like 9 or so inches long, and I'm like, whoa, this could catch a pretty big fish. I'm not sure what. I'm pretty sure a striper would eat it or anything else. But for me, I managed to pick up my own little set. I went online and I actually found something cool. I was like, what can I buy that will cover pretty much all of my bases in my area? So I thought I'd go with their Panther Martin Best of the Best Value 3-pack. And when I say value, it was a really good value. They do have a 6-pack that's known for catching bass and trout and pretty much everything under the sun. But mainly with their colors, when they have their best, it's what works the best. So let me describe why these are the best. And particularly, this is the size 4, which is it's toward the smaller end for bass. The most popular bass size is 6, and I believe that's the 1/8 of an ounce. This is 1/16, and it's just heavy enough to throw with my light tackle gear. If it was 1/32, I'd be a little wishy-washy on my actual fishing line weight, which I believe is like an 8 or 10 pound test. I would need to go down to probably 4 and maybe 6, but 4 would be better. And I'm still thinking about doing that anyway and seeing if that's possible. So, what most popular color for bass? Red and yellow. They have it with red dots here. As you can see, the red dots. That's great for bass in the spring, worked along the shallows and the drops. It gives I'm not sure about the impression that it gives, but the bright colors and the bright colors worked very well. Now the spinner has a totally different reason of why they have different colors. One, the silver works better when it's really bright outside, and that's the same reason I spoke earlier in a different video about colors that you should use for minnow bait kind of lures. When it's bright, you go white, and when it's dark, you go chartreuse. But in the spinner manner, you want to go with a brass/copper kind of color. That works better in darker water, murky water, what you want to call it, and reflects better. For the summer and fall, the best colors are this black and yellow here, the one in the middle. That has been known to be awesome for bass during the summer and also for the fall. So tomorrow, which will be a continuance of the Panther Martin Spinner video, I will actually be trying that one out a lot. The water isn't actually the water is in between murky and clear right now. It's more or less just full of weeds, and it's actually clearing out. But I believe it will be an overcast day, so it may be a little dark. And I think I might be able to not just lure out a bass, but maybe the black crappie are coming in for that fall weather fishing. And I'm really getting excited about that. Now you're probably wondering what this last one is. It looks like a speckled trout. It has the green, it has the silver, it has the red, it has the stripe, the tiger stripes, and it has the green on one side and I believe it's white on the other side to kind of decipher the top part of a fish or pretty much anything in the water is going to be dark. So when something's looking down at it, it's dark behind it, so it kind of hides. And when it's light on the bottom, if you look up at it, it looks like the sky. It's light, and it's also kind of camouflaged. So that's what it's trying to do there. But that depends on which side of the spinner that you tie your knot on. It will favor one side or other. And that one in particular is more keen to working with panfish, but I believe this size hook is just too big for, well, maybe a maybe a pretty big crappie will get its mouth around this one. It'll be good for a big crappie. Like, when you always want to catch a bigger fish, you want to go with a bigger lure, and this would do that. But the size 1 and 2 is way better for using for panfish. And I would actually need to go to much lighter line to do that. I would guaranteed need to go to 4-pound test, which I'm really skeptical of using because if I do use that and something big bites, which I always want to happen, I might lose it. It might scrape up against something. It might just break. And I don't want to lose that fish. So I always want to go a little bit stronger in tests. I know line strength has increased and gotten better over time with monofilament and even with braided. I don't even know if there is a braid for 4-pound test, but I'm gonna look into that. I will actually do my research and I will do that. So what else can we do with a Panther Martin spinner? They work out for pretty much any kind of really any fish. There's a largemouth bass, smallmouth bass they're really good with. Trout they're heavily known for working well with because they have the same kind of action and style as many fly lures, which is what most people catch trout on, unless you're going saltwater fishing for like speckled trout or something. There's the bigger fish like pikes and muskie and lost my train of thought here. Oh, yes, and there's a whole different kind of line for saltwater fishing, particularly for striped bass, because that's the saltwater pleasure for most fishermen. When it's freshwater, people go out to largemouth mostly. And when it's saltwater, people go out to striped bass. Everybody loves bass. And that's why they are #1 trophy fish, i.e. fish people like to do for tournaments. They like to catch them for fun, and sometimes they even eat them as well if they so desire. They fit the bill for everything. So you should try to catch them more often and get a little knowledge to try to see how you can catch bass in your area easily because they're so much fun to do and catch. But if you don't have much skills, that's fine. Throw a worm out there, and even yes. And for smallmouth bass, I believe the speckled trout one, or ones particularly that have the copper blade, are fantastic for smallmouth bass, and they love it if you put on a small worm or a grub or some other type of insect. It doesn't really matter, and you throw out a little bit of bait on the end of it, and they like to taste. I think they like to taste their lures or their bait, or whatever they're trying to bite, a little bit before they actually like give in completely and say, I'm gonna eat this thing. They don't really attack it as much, particularly in when it's cold, which is what smallmouth bass really like to fry them. And they're usually near the rocks. So if you add a little bit of bait, a little bit of attractant on there, they're more likely to hang on and bite that big old treble hook that's back here. And treble hooks are nice and all, but oh man, when they get tangled into like weird corners of the fish, and you're like, oh, hope I can get this thing out, or even worse, you let it chew it too long and it gets gut hooked. You have to use a special device that I got recently. I haven't even taken it out of the bag yet. It's this Snail hook remover. If you see it, it has the little hole here. You see, that's too close. You actually guide it down a line. It catches the end of the hook. You turn it in, and the hook actually gets hidden inside and wrapped around the actual surface of this, which enables the barb to be released from their flesh, and then you can twist it out, push it, and then pull it out. And you know, most of the time, you can get it free. And this is really important for fish with smallmouth, like panfish, or even a smallmouth bass, or when something's just a gut hook. The really only thing that's going to save that fish is a good hook remover like this. And if you care about actually saving that fish and releasing it back into the wild so it can be able to grow bigger and make more babies so you can catch more fish later on and your families can catch more fish later on, maybe you want to think about getting something like this. I mean, it's crazy cheap. This was like $3 or $4 on Amazon. This is a must-have. Just throw it in the tackle box. Look how small it is. It takes up little space. You can get the big one. You have big hooks. You can get small ones for small hooks. Or you can get both and just have them available at all times. So that's what we're doing for this time frame now. The temperature has dropped. It was 80, then it was 60, and then it got used to 60. This is a week, I'm telling you. It took 2 days to get used to 60. I'm like, man, what a chill. And then boom, today, a high of 41, and right now it's 31 degrees. It's freezing. And it's like mid-October. I know in the past, sometimes it used to snow at this period of time, but we're in the Northeast, and I don't want to freeze when I go fishing. I'm sorry. But I'm going to pull out my gear. I'm going to get ready. I'm going to get my stuff. I'm going to do my research, and I'm going to catch those fish. That's the last thing I do. So, Dwight Norris Fish Network, and we're signing off with this live, but I can't click the button because it's way over there. So I'm going to go do that. Thank you for tuning in. And if you're watching the recording, please go down below, click the subscribe button, hit the like button, make a comment, tell me what you like, tell me what you want to see, and I will reply and try my best to actually do that at a later time. Thank you.